All right, here we go. Episode 5, Entombed. This one, it's the worst one of the season so far, in my opinion. And this episode actually answers what this is from the trailer. Too bad that what this is was a bit of a letdown. Now that said, don't get me wrong, I don't think this was a bad piece of TV. So, Wrecker and Omega are scavenging in the opening scene of the episode, and wouldn't you know, they find some interesting side items. Could this be the catalyst for some kind of adventure? I don't know, who could say, but yes. It is. It's the catalyst for some kind of side adventure. But it's back to Sid's place, and the rest of the batch are watching the new character, Fee, tell some outlandish stories. The batch cattily gossip behind her back about how her stories kind of sound like BS, while she wows the others there with her silly stories. But when Omega and Wrecker arrive back with their side items, Fee stops what she's doing to take a closer look. She identifies part of their haul as an ancient compass, leading to, in her words, what must be treasure. And with that, Omega has heard enough and wants to go all in on following the compass. Hunter is skeptical about it, Echo is also down on the idea, but they can't say no to Omega, so it's time to blast off in their ship. While en route, Fee tells more stories to Omega, who is smitten with her. Maybe it's because it's nice for Omega to have a female influence around after being surrounded by all her dads, or maybe she's impressed by the stories just because she's a kid and kids are easily impressed. Following the compass, they land on a desolate gray planet that Tech describes as having been razed and left uninhabitable. Not concerning at all, guys. No red flags to see here. So they press on with their adventure, with Omega leading the charge. They arrive at a secret tunnel into a mountain.
Secret tunnel, through the mountain. Secret tunnel, yeah.
And within the tunnel, there's a puzzle that needs to be solved in order to proceed. Fee says that this is the entrance to Skara Nal, an infamous legend among pirates involving the heart of the mountain. What is the heart of the mountain? Well, Fee explains it's a stone that unlocks an ancient power, but more importantly, the stone is worth a lot of money. They align the symbols in the cave to solve the video game level. However, in the process of that, a trap activates and rocks fall, blocking their way out. In the chaos, Fee does save Wrecker from one of the falling rocks, and this shows that despite her quirkiness, she does care about other people. With that puzzle behind them, they find themselves in a more narrow, dark tunnel and are suddenly attacked by a creature that is resistant to blaster fire. This causes a massive cave-in that actually separates the group. Echo, Wrecker, Tech to one side, and Hunter, Fee, and Omega to the other. Their comms still work, and Tech says that they can actually chart a route through side tunnels to get to the other side of the cave and the cave-in, while the rest press deeper into the mountain. Hunter, Omega, and Fee stumble onto another puzzle where Hunter actually almost dies. He becomes increasingly worried about the mission, but Fee tells him to loosen up. Great pep talk, Fee. Anyway, to beat this next puzzle, they have to sacrifice the compass and lock it to the wall, which moves the terrain and reveals a safe path through. As the music swells, I can't help but think the music is more impressive than what's happening on screen. Now this part I thought was super lame because after Hunter, Omega, and Fee have to go through that second puzzle, lose the compass, and nearly die, Echo, Wrecker, and Tech just do exactly what they said they were going to do and chart a path through side tunnels to get to the same location without issue. How could there be a path that easy to get through the mountain? And regardless of the in-universe question of why would the designers do that if they're trying to keep people out, from a story perspective, it undercuts the tension of the previous scene if the other group went through no obstacles, but reached the same outcome as the group that did face obstacles. Okay, rant over. So yeah, blah, 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 blah. The whole crew is back together, and they now stand before the heart of the mountain. Fee picks up the stone And now, the coolest part of the episode begins. Everything starts to shake, and you see from the outside that a huge beam of energy is shooting up from the mountain into the sky. The music swells again, but this time it matches better what's happening on the screen. Out of the mountain, through fire, rises a huge, mountain-sized, mechanical beast. The batch is actually standing inside of this big droid beast machine thing as it fires a destructive beam into the surrounding landscape. This answered one of my biggest questions from the show's trailer, which was, what the heck is that thing? I remember that it really caught my eye. It's interesting how sometimes something that catches your attention the most in a trailer amounts to very little in the actual story or show. But despite Fee's strong desires to keep the stone and sell it, the batch convinces Fee to put it back in hopes it'll turn off the machine. And they have a strong argument. What is their argument? Well, the beast could destroy their ship and trap them on the desolate planet if they don't stop it now. But wait, because the blaster-resistant creature from before, well, it's back, and it starts attacking them again. Fumble McFingers Fee drops the heart of the mountain, and the batch battle the creature. Fee falls like 3 or 4 times trying to get the stone back, which made me roll my eyes, but okay, I'll cut her some slack. I'd probably do worse if I was also inside a huge robot beast rampaging across an alien planet. Hunter has to save Fee from falling to her doom, and Wrecker eventually defeats the creature by throwing it out a window. Now, they are able to put the stone back, and the beast starts to self-destruct, but crucially, without harming our heroes. So now, walking away, and without any real treasure, the group is disappointed. But Hunter remarks that at least the beast is destroyed and it can't be turned back on. And this is pretty much where the episode ends. Okay, so my thoughts on this are that this is a weak episode with a cool set piece. The treasure hunting was derivative, heavily inspired by Indiana Jones, obviously. But what I thought was kind of bad were these several glaring weak plot points and a lack of any meaningful character development. I mean, I guess you could argue that this episode sets up Fee to play a larger role later in the season, but the batch themselves advanced very little as people and characters. I mean, what did they learn? How did they grow? Did this give us as the audience some kind of deeper understanding into the world? I'm not so sure. It was just a fun time, a one-off adventure. I just think it needed a little bit more. The robot beast machine was cool, but I also would have liked to have learned more about it. One question that came to my mind was, did that planet develop the beast machine and it got out of control and destroyed it? Or did someone drop that thing on the planet to inflict harm? Kind of neat to think that there is stuff like this out there in the Star Wars galaxy left over from ancient civilizations and ancient conflicts. But anywho, what did you think of this episode? Let me know in the comments. And if you made it this far, please support the channel by liking and subscribing. It means a lot. And with that, I will ask you to just take it easy and have a great rest of your day.